Hello, everybody, and welcome to the September edition of Let's Talk. Not a very eventful month, aside from the fact that I'm going to be reminded of the fact that I am slowly but surely speeding towards my inevitable demise as I turn 1 year older, but that's at the end of the month, so I'm not really concerned about that too much. There's really not a whole lot going on. This is probably going to be one of the shorter episodes just because as far as the channel is concerned, we're just kind of chugging along. That's not to say things haven't been happening. Kirby in the Forgotten Land just quote-unquote finished, and that's a temporary finish. I will bring that back at some point, and we will see more of that. Pokepark is just, it's like right around the corner it's going to be done, and that's going to be the same deal as Kirby, where I'm going to put it on pause, come back to it a little bit later, and then we're going to jump back in and try to complete the game, obviously, so we can set up the events of Pokepark 2 in the future. And then there is Fallout 4, again, right around the corner, although I actually need to record the last 2 or 3 episodes. I'm probably going to do that right after I finish recording this Let's Talk, actually, and just getting that done so we can move on from that and then jump into the next Let's Play that I've had pre-recorded for quite a long time. And then as far as, paintball game, that's another one that's also almost done right around the corner. All of that's going to be finishing in September. My goodness, 3 different series will be concluding this month. That's what I get for saying that this is an uneventful month. It's uneventful for me because for the most part, all this stuff is done. But for you guys, I guess it is going to be interesting because we're going to have a lot of new stuff appearing over the course of the month. After Fallout 4, pre-recorded series, obviously. After Pokepark, No Man's Sky. After paintball game, variety content. All that stuff is going to be in the works this month. And then I'm also working on NFL Street and Pikmin and Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island, some of which I actually haven't even started yet. They're kind of all in the pre-planning stages of getting started on those, but you're not going to see most of those series for a little while anyway. A lot of them have to wait for things like Forza Horizon 3 to conclude, and that's not going to probably conclude until November. Pokemon Legends Arceus is chugging along. Horizon Forbidden West is chugging along. I mean, there's just so much going on the channel to the point where I'm wondering if maybe I should actually get rid of one more time slot because I'm overwhelming myself. This last summer was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, that's not to say that it wasn't good, because it was. It was very productive. A lot got done, but I am exhausted. I feel like I have hit the hardest wall I have hit in years when it comes to my workload. And that's not to say that I want to stop or quit or anything. I just need to change priorities a little bit. I think when it comes to stuff I do on the channel, what I'm going to try to do is in the coming week, in the week that you're getting this video, I am going to try to get everything for the entire month and maybe like a week's cushion scheduled and edited. So nothing new. Just all of it scheduled and edited and uploaded and put into place so that I can spend the entirety of this month just recording. Nothing but. No editing, no uploading, no scheduling, no impromptu videos, just recording. And that way I can just kind of chill, because recording itself is inherently actually kind of chill. I don't have to worry about anything else. I can kind of stay in one mood. That's not to say that it's always going to work. Recording videos is something I have to be kind of picky and choosy with. And it's one of the reasons, and I talked about this in the Forza Horizon series, but it's one of the reasons certain series frustrate me more than others. Because when I record certain games, I will sit down for recording sessions, and I will jump in, and I will start recording, and I'll be like, this is not working today. And I will just shut it off. I will not save my game. I will just be like, we'll tackle this another day, and I'll do it when I'm in a better mindset, when I feel like I can get my points across better and more coherently, and I'm just going to leave this be. And with games like Forza, this is the kind of stuff that frustrates me when I have games that I cannot access backup saves, or it's a constantly fluid, always ever progressing experience. Those are the sorts of games where I'm just kind of stuck with what I recorded, even if it is largely crap. And that's why a lot of those Forza Horizon episodes, not a lot of them, but a fair few of those Forza Horizon episodes, including the ones you guys just got, have been pretty garbage, because sometimes I'll just sit down and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't undo it like I can with other games, and that can be frustrating at times. That's why I don't like to record those sorts of games a lot. I like to go back to games where I have access to save slots and backups, because I can give it another try when I'm feeling better, because I'm not always at 100%, and that will probably get in the way if I try to record and do nothing but this month, because usually when I'm not feeling 100%, what do? I then go, okay, I'm going to use this time to edit instead, because that I can always do if I'm not filling up to recording and still, stay productive and things like that. But I'm going to really try to just focus on recording, finish out the summer doing nothing but recording. And then when it finally starts to cool down as we head into October, I can just be like, okay, let's just do nothing but edit, let the computer render 5 bazillion episodes, and then we just chill, just relax, let's take it easy, recuperate as we go into the holidays. That's the plan. That's what I'm going to try to do. So we'll see how that obviously works out. The other two series, there's actually a third series, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The other two series that I'm going to also start work on, and I say this with heavy reservations because I probably won't even record the first episode of these until close to Christmas, but the other two series that I want to start working on are Dishonored and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Those are the kind of the last two I want to start work on before year's end, aside from the ones that I've already named, because like I said, NFL Street is probably going to be the next one, and that's probably not going to happen until Forza Horizon 3 is done. And if you know right now, Forza Horizon 3 is in the thick of Blizzard Mountain, so we still have a whole nother expansion left to do. That series probably isn't going to end until like November. So NFL Street will probably replace that, because that's actually going to be a Let's Play. Pikmin and Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island are probably going to be even later. One of them is going to replace the series that replaces Fallout 4, so you know that's going to be, that's 2 series away, so you know that's going to be a while. And then the other one is, I don't know how long I'm going to take No Man's Sky yet, so I can't say anything about that. And Pokemon Legends Arceus and Horizon Forbidden West are probably, neither of them are probably ending this year. So I honestly have no idea when those are going to start. So I'm at the point now where I'm just recording so far ahead. I can't give any specific dates on when I'm going to be uploading stuff. I can only give dates on when I'm going to be working on stuff. So I'm going to be trying to work on those. That said, there is one series I am considering slotting right back in where Kirby and the Forgotten Land was going. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Hold on a moment. Just, oh, you know what? I guess we can just talk about that now, because I just realized I don't really have much else to discuss. So two series that I want to kind of discuss. And one of them is more of a speculative thing. I've talked about multiple times what my plans are for doing Destiny videos, and I since made the decision that for Destiny, I was going to record some stuff and put a video together right before the release of the next expansion, which is Lightfall. That has since been revealed between the last Let's Talk and this one. And Bungie did say that with the release of that expansion, they are actively looking to making the game a more beginner-friendly experience once again. Not saying that the content itself is going to be beginner-friendly, but they're going to put in avenues, quest paths, and just, a lot of systems and tutorials into the game that allow it to be more beginner-friendly. And that's great and all. I'm sure it is. But I still want to add what I'm going to make as kind of a supplementary material to that. That being said, Bungie also announced something incredibly big with that Lightfall expansion, something really huge that actually changes the way I want to approach things. They also announced that they are going to be bringing back, not bringing back, but they are going to no longer be sunsetting any content in the game. Nothing else is going to be removed. And personally, because this has always been a sore subject when it comes to Destiny, but personally, I actually think that's perfect, because of all the stuff that they have gotten rid of is the weakest stuff that Destiny has ever had. That being said, there is like the Forsaken campaign that they got rid of. That is kind of a shame that they got rid of it, but I'm going to try to go back and see if I can actually salvage that, because there is a possibility that once all is said and done, I will actually be able to make an entire series where we go through all of the current expansions, which are Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, Witch Queen, soon to be Lightfall, and then the Final Shape, which is going to be the last expansion. I'll be able to go through all of those in sequential order and all of the things within those expansions and kind of tack it on to the Destiny 2 Let's Play, Destiny Let's Play that I have already uploaded. If you have ever looked at that series, I have the entire Destiny 1 series as public still, but the Destiny 2 part is all unlisted because it's unfinished, and I don't like it in its current state. Not to say that the videos were all bad, because they weren't. They were fine. It was perfect for the era, but it kind of just stopped short because I got sort of into the Forsaken expansion, and then I just kind of lost track of where we were supposed to be, because Destiny is an ever fluid, ever evolving game, and it's really hard to go back and see old content once it's been, they've moved on from it. So that kind of threw a wrench in the entire thing, and I just kind of had to unlist it all. But if I can bring it all back just to the, to the end of the Forsaken campaign, then that's it for everything that has been deleted from the game. Once we get to that point, I can basically pick up from where we left off and move on from there, and then we can get the entire light versus dark story saga of Destiny and put it all into one gigantic, monumental Let's Play that's probably going to be like 300-400 episodes by the time it's all done. So that might happen in the future. We're going to actually see how that all plays out, but that is actually a plan of mine now to possibly jump back into and work on that. And given where the game is now versus where it was 5 years ago, I have a lot to to discuss and a lot to say because a lot of my thoughts back then are incredibly outdated based on, you know, what the game has become and where it is and why I think it is possibly the best game ever created. So yeah, we got a lot of Destiny in the far future to go over on this channel, and just saying it right now, it being one of my like top 3 video games of all time, you guys haven't seen nothing yet. Just saying. So we're gonna be jumping into that pretty hardcore in the future. But the last thing I want to talk about, is The Last of Us. Oh boy. So I'm not gonna get into any discussion on the merits of the game and what people's thoughts. I'm not starting that discussion today. Holy crap, I am not. The Last of Us Part 2, The Last of Us Part 1. What's good? What isn't? Is the remake a sin against God and mankind and nature alike? I'm not going into any of that at all. I will say, though, going into the announcement of The Last of Us Part 1, I was very skeptical because obviously it's a very bitter pill to swallow, a $70 game for essentially a remake of a game that came out in 2013. Then I remembered my Let's Play of The Last of Us is one of my one of my oldest Let's Plays, actually. I played it on the PlayStation 3. The finale of that episode, or that series, came out, I want to say, like 2 weeks before the PS4 remaster was released. So it's old. It's very, very old. And I did the Left Behind DLC as well. But I look back on those videos, and man, I wish I had done more with those when it comes to like collectibles and just showing all of the secrets in that game. And I really do feel like I fell short with what I wanted out of that series, because The Last of Us is another game that I consider to be one of my all-time favorites. And it would be nice to actually look at The Last of Us 2 on this channel as well, just so we can have a meaningful discussion as opposed to flinging shit at the wall like most people do on the internet these days. But a meaningful discussion about the differences and the themes between the games and what makes something good, what makes something bad, what works, what doesn't, and go into that, because that entire saga, while I personally do not love The Last of Us Part 2, I also don't hate it, and I do look at it as an interesting discussion to have. I think it's something that, especially if you juxtapose it against its predecessor, there's a lot of meaningful discussion when it comes to storytelling and presentation that is worth talking about. Because, I said before, again, I love the first Last of Us. I think it's a masterpiece of a game, but I do not think that it is a masterpiece for many of the same reasons that a lot of these vehement Last of Us 2 haters do. I think a lot of people missed the boat and missed the message that game was trying to send, while also not necessarily thinking that The Last of Us Part 2 had a good message either. So it's a whole complicated situation, but I think I might end up using this remake as an excuse to give that Let's Play a redux, because there's a few Let's Plays I would like to give a redux to. When I look back at all of my old Let's Plays and all the games that I have covered in the past, there's only a few of them that I really like to reprise. Shadow of the Colossus is done. That one's done. I've done all I could with that one. It's perfect. I'm probably, at least as far as Let's Plays are concerned, when it comes to looking at, that Beyond the Forbidden Lands mod project, I'll probably look at that when it comes to discussing certain unused content and having supplementary material for that. That's another discussion. But as far as Let's Plays go, that one's done. Okami, that one's done. But other favorite games no, Super Mario Sunshine's probably done too, but like The Last of Us and then Ori and the Blind Forest, not Will of the Wisps, but the first game, some of those games, it's like, I kind of want to go back and I kind of want to give them their what they deserve, because back then I was doing it on weaker equipment. I was doing it with a lot less perspective and not really fully understanding, what made those games so good. They weren't very completionist either. They missed a lot of stuff. I mean, the Last of Us Part 1 Let's Play, The Last of Us Let's Play was incredibly bare bones. I barely showed any secrets whatsoever, any of the Firefly medallions, how to get certain trophies and things like that. I hardly did any of that. And in subsequent playthroughs, I don't think I've actually platinumed the game, but I've gotten really darn close, and I would like to be able to actually show a lot of that and make it a much more comprehensive series. And there are other games as well that I would not mind going back to at some point in various more creative ways. I don't ever want to just redo a Let's Play. I would like to do it in a way that doesn't make the original obsolete, but also is better than the original, if that makes sense. I want to be creative. I want to essentially remaster my Let's Plays. plays, if that makes sense, as opposed to just redoing them, as opposed to just releasing them again. And there are certain games that warrant that because they are, some of my all-time favorites. I would like to have what I deem and to be a perfect Let's Play, or at least the best that I can do for a Let's Play of all of my top 20 favorite games. That I would like to be able to do that before I called it quits on YouTube, and I can't say that I have done that to the fullest extent yet. So hopefully, someday we'll get around to that. But The Last of Us might happen sooner rather than later, obviously, because I don't want to start a Last of Us Part 1 Let's Play too long after the fact, but I also kind of want to wait for the game to receive a price drop, because I cannot justify spending $70 on it. Absolutely not. So we will see with that one. Speaking of outdated equipment, though, just want to briefly talk about that. I am in the market for a better microphone. My capture card is still fine for what my PC is. I actually have a better capture card, but I can't use it with this PC. And so I have to get a better PC first before I end up using that capture card. So the capture card thing is a non-issue, or not a non-issue, but it's something that I just flat out can't solve at the moment for money reasons. But microphone, I'm looking to get a much better mic than the one I've been using for the past 6 years. It's always been the same microphone. If you didn't know, if it didn't sound obvious, I've been using a Blue Yeti pretty much since 2016, and I mean, I'm on my second Blue Yeti. It hasn't been the same one every single time, but I've been using essentially the same microphone and nothing better ever since. So I'm looking to upgrade that here relatively soon to something much nicer than this. Not like a $10,000 studio microphone, but something in like the $200 to $300 range, hopefully, so I can have much more clarity and much clearer sound. Just upgrade my setup in general so it all sounds and looks a lot better, and we can get, we have a lot less popping and stuff like that, because there's only so much I can do within the frame of editing everything. Like I try to be pretty darn strict with my noise canceling and making the audio as clear as possible. I do a lot of work with that, keep everything as uncompressed as I possibly can. But in the end, when you're uploading audio to YouTube, there's only so much that you can do. So it really does just come down to the equipment that you're using, and the software can't do all of the work for you. So I'm gonna have to just get something a little bit better. I'm looking at the Audio-Technica's microphones, just because those seem to be a lot of the most popular ones, a lot of the ones that people use on YouTube the most, and they just seem to get the job really done really, really well. The one I think I'm probably going to end up getting is the AT4040, just because everybody says that's like one of the best ones for under like $500 that you can get your hands on. So yeah, I'll probably see if I can get one of those, and if I can get my hands on that, then you will probably notice a very big difference when it comes to the sound of my voice. But that's hopefully going to get done before the end of the year. We will see. And again, the capture card situation, that's probably something I will solve next year. Getting a better PC for this whole situation, probably going to be a next year thing. And yeah, that's really all I had to say today. Wow, I could barely get this to 20 minutes, even though I ended up rambling and fumbling over my words more than I meant to, and I'll probably be editing some of that out anyway. This was a pretty short Let's Talk, but again, not a whole lot to talk about. So guys, I hope you're looking forward to a lot of the stuff that's going to be coming out over the next couple of months. I hope you're looking forward to the variety content, because I have no idea how that's going to land. It is not too dissimilar from what we were doing before, but just a more long-form video format with a bit more freedom to the games that I end up choosing. So obviously that remains to be seen how well that's going to do. So guys, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode very, very much, and I will see you all in the next one.